No. Ooh. Okay. We're good. The lighting looks so good. It actually looks so nice. Okay. Hi, everyone. We are back for week 2. I'm just looking at my computer real quickly, just grabbing everything. Amazing. Week 2 of lives. I'm back on my couch. And yeah, I got some good questions last live and I wanted to answer some of them. The lighting looks great compared to last time. It was totally overexposed, so that's super exciting. But yeah, basically, this live is going to be about 7 habits, personal habits that have really worked well for me. So I am just going to, oops, sorry, I just touched that. I am just going to pull this up really quickly. So I had someone ask me last time. I had posted that the first live went well, and I wanted to know what they wanted to know for the next one. So they said, I would be curious to hear about your personal habits before and after Goldman Sachs. What pre-GS habits helped you be successful at GS? And what new habits did you develop at GS that you continue post-GS? I just thought this was a really, really good question because I like that it talks about not only, what I was like at Goldman, but actually like before and after, because I think those are the things that matter most. I obviously didn't I don't think anything is an overnight success. And yeah, for me, it definitely wasn't that. There was a lot that happened before and after, which obviously led to a lot of things. Okay. So, oh my God, I just hit that. I hope that didn't make too loud of a noise. Okay. So let's get started. I basically wanted to answer this question directly and just talk about 7 personal habits. Hopefully, this person will watch or jump on the chat. I'm again getting cozy with my blanket. And okay, let's go. So, the first one, and very simple, is handwritten thank you notes. I wrote handwritten thank you notes to every single person that I interacted with. And I think that wasn't actually just Goldman. I think I realized when I answered this question initially, I kind of listed out 7 things that I did at Goldman, but now I'm realizing it's more about personal habits before and after. But I'm glad I answered it this way with these 7 answers because this actually is very broad to everything that I've achieved in my life. Okay, so here's some useful things. So, number 1 is handwritten thank you notes. I think this is true before and after Goldman and just in general in my life. I really think writing a handwritten thank you note and appreciating people is so important. I just have a hair in my face. Okay, so even when I had a 15-minute conversation with someone, I would send them a handwritten thank you note because I just think being super humble about everything and just being really grateful is what then kind of made me want to write so many notes. So I think I wrote over 100 handwritten notes at Goldman and even around the time of recruiting and everything. And overall, I've written over 150 or 200 thank you notes to people. But I think this is a personal habit that really goes a long way, whether you're sending handwritten notes to family or friends, or I don't know, sometimes in college, I would just write a random letter to someone who lived farther away just so they knew I was thinking of them. But I think that's a really good personal habit that makes a difference. The second personal habit is curiosity. And this one has taken me much, much farther than just Goldman. But this is what really got me the job. So I think just being curious my entire life. And then this kind of helped me afterwards. So yeah, I kind of had a story that I wanted to share about being at Goldman, but I think that genuinely just being curious my whole life has been super helpful. Um, then the third thing, which also I can happy to expand on these things, um, is I read this book in high school. I was 16 at the time, and it's called Thinking in Systems by Danilo Meadows. And it completely changed my life because it made me realize like running my life in systems is like probably the only way and the easiest way for me to actually live life in general. There's this one analogy about the bathtub, and I think I share this in one of my videos, which is actually my 6 habits video. So if this is even helpful in any way, I would definitely suggest watching that one because it goes a little bit deeper on some personal examples that I have. But basically, this one analogy, I swear, has stuck with me like honestly my entire life since I read that book. And it's basically that like everything in life is inputs and outputs. And everything that you do is like your inputs, and everything that is like draining your energy is your outputs, and your life is kind of like the level of the water. So your life will fall, or sorry, your life will rise and fall to the level of the water. And for me, I think pre-GS, pre-Goldman, I would say that I focused a lot on the inputs. Like everything in my life was about like what am I doing? What am I personally contributing? And then it was only after Goldman that I actually started focusing on the outputs. And this example came back like up in my life from this book that I read when I was 16. And I remembered it. And I realized, oh my goodness, I've spent my entire life focusing on the inputs that I've completely forgot to focus on the outputs, which is everything that drains my energy. And those things ended up being incredibly more important than anything I had ever put into my life, because I feel like you can only control so much of what you do. But then it was like there were so many things that I didn't realize were taking up my energy, like certain relationships, certain friendships, certain ways that I was showing up and overgiving, or maybe not taking care of my body. Like there was just a slew of things that I realized afterwards. And those were the things that really I changed after I left Goldman. So I think that this book, I don't even know if that's a personal habit, but I think just the constant habit of seeing everything as a system and like a personal system of inputs and outputs really changed everything for me, and has been like probably, I think, one of the most, if not the most important thing is just constantly seeing things as systems and inputs and outputs. Um, okay. I think so. Another personal habit was, which I shared in my 6 habits video, is seeing my energy and focus as a ball of light. This one is very interesting, very different. I don't know how this always relates, but basically, I watched this TED Talk when I was either in high school or early on in college, and it was from a monk. And the monk was basically saying, like, we're so scattered, so many distractions. But if you can just imagine like a ball of light and that you're constantly putting your energy forward or wherever you need to place it, it will train your focus and train your mind and train your attention really to be more in the moment or on top of whatever you're, you know, focusing on. And if you watch my 6 habits video, you'll probably notice that like as soon as I do that, you can feel the difference in my energy of like when my focus is completely on you and completely, here with you. So that's a very simple one, but definitely made a huge, huge difference for me. Um, yeah, I don't know where this TED Talk is, but one day I'll find it because it was unbelievable. Okay, habit number 5 is choosing the path less traveled. My favorite quote is, favorite poem, I guess, is The Path Less Traveled by Robert Frost. Um, I'm not sure if that actually is the name of it, but basically just saying like two paths diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference. I have the magnet up somewhere in my home, but basically, I think that this is a habit across life. Like, if you're constantly choosing the thing that feels uncomfortable, that feels like you don't know where it's going to lead. Um, I also mentioned in one of my videos about why I chose going to a public school over an Ivy League. And in that, I basically said that, like, I ask myself 2 questions anytime I want to make a big decision. And the questions are, if I choose option A, will I always wonder what option B looks like? And if the answer is yes, then I go, okay, if I choose option B, will I always wonder what A is like? And then if the answer is no, then I know I have my answer. So like, for example, when I was choosing colleges, when I transferred, it was like, I was either going to go to Cornell, Boston College, or Indiana University. So happy I went to Indiana. And it was first with Cornell, I basically said to myself, if I go to Cornell, will I always wonder what my life would have looked like if I went to Indiana? And the answer was yes, because there was something new there. It was different. It was like, I don't know, but I could grow a lot there. And then the other question then is, if I choose Indiana, will I always wonder what my life will look like at Cornell? And the answer was no, because it was obvious what my life would look like, very academic, on a certain path. But I think that when you find the path less traveled is typically the one with more zest, more spice, or more, there's an unknowingness there. And that uncertainty is what drives you forward in life, in growth. And so if you're looking for growth, then choose the path less traveled. I think another thing I wrote about was just how I had this internship in Austria, and it was very different. I basically, I think also just working every summer, like I pretty much worked like every summer I had an internship, and that really, really, really made a big difference. So I had an internship in Austria. I worked in a small skincare company, which was also very non-traditional. But I would say I took internships every summer. I just think taking every opportunity, even if it's not paid, if you can do that, is just explore. Like, I think I spent a lot of time on that one, but it's very true. Okay, habit number 6 is working when no one else was. I think this has applied throughout my entire life. Like, I've always found Saturdays to be a day where I like to reflect and kind of look back on things of the week and really move myself forward. So yeah, I think in college I did this. In high school, I would do this, just to really stay organized. So when I was in my internship actually for Goldman, every Saturday, I would go through the week and I would look over everything that was done that week. And I would sort of like refresh my memory, or kind of like go back and sort through things to understand, like, what did I even do this week? And then, yeah, and then I would come up with my plan for the next week so that I could then enjoy my Sunday, and I knew my Monday was already planned out and I was good to go. But there was something very consolidating about the information. So it just felt like everything consolidated on that Saturday, and then I could think clearly. Um, yeah, I just think working when no one else was. Like, if you have moments of inspiration, or if there's times when, you, I don't know, want to work on things, then just do it. I think that really propelled me forward in life in general. Like, whether it was in high school or whether it was in college or even now or in jobs, like just working on the weekends, but using the weekends as a time to reflect is really, really key. Um, which kind of brings me into my next habit, which is always going the extra mile. So like I I think this always going the extra mile is if you're really obsessed with something, or you really love something and you want to learn it, then you almost will go the extra mile if it matters to you. Um, I have an example of that. Basically, I kind of tailored all these questions to my actual experience at Goldman, but I realized I can definitely talk about more personal experiences next time, just life experience. But in my internship, it was like 6 p.m. on a Friday, and we had just wrapped up our weekly meeting. And we basically go through this list of like 100 questions, and everyone has to answer what they know about the markets. And I knew literally nothing. So I got every single question like wrong or didn't know the answer. And the thing was, if you don't know the answer, don't try and guess. Just say, I don't know. I'll get back to you. And so I was like, I don't know. I'll get back to you on every single one. And I think I had like 10 questions. And so basically I then went back, and I had listed out all the questions we were asked, and I typed them all up. And then I went through and answered all of them, like by searching Google. And then I sent this thing off at like 10 p.m. on a Friday night, just to be like, hey, I didn't know the answers to these questions earlier. Not only did I want to just find the answers to mine, but I also wanted to find the answers to everyone's stuff, every single question that was asked. And so I did that. And yeah, I think that is really like going the extra mile. Like, if you really want something, if you really want it and you really love it, you will do what it takes to get there. And I think that's been true my whole life. Like, I just always put in the extra effort. I always, if I really want something, I do what it takes in like a loving fashion, which I think is also going back to handwritten thank you notes and things like that. Um, so yeah. And then I had a bonus one just because, and we're zooming through this, which is great. The bonus one was that um, I really was creative in life with like ways I got my foot in the door or things that I wanted to try. I think my internships uh, were really different. And I think just I was really creative with how I built, personal relationships with people. I want to see what else I wrote. Yeah, I think just having creativity in life, like not seeing it is kind of like this book, The Third Door, but it's like it's just not seeing things as linear or as this is the way things have always been done. Like there's always another way to do something. There's always a better solution. There's always a better solution. My dad taught me that. So I think I would always find a way into things that I wanted to do. Like if I wanted to get an internship but I was too young, I would like go to the job fairs they were having for like young professionals and just pitch myself and get an internship somewhere. Like that's what landed me my small skincare brand internship, which then turned into a paying job when I was in college. So it's like things like that, just being creative. When I turned 18 after high school, everyone was hanging out on the boat all day, and I was like in Austria doing an internship, and then also in Switzerland doing an internship, like just doing things a little bit differently and creatively, or finding different ways to approach things. So yeah, I think who I am as a person and those personal habits led me to working at Goldman. But the things that I learned while being at Goldman are probably more the actual hard skills of life. I think I really learned a lot about the markets, a lot about investing. Like I know how to manage my own portfolio now. I'm very like well versed in things that not every day language is like it's not used by people. Like when you talk about shorts and puts and call writing and all these different strategies, those things are very different. But I don't know if I would say that I learned soft skills at Goldman because I think that I had soft skills. I probably just learned about like corporate dynamics a lot. Um, but yeah, I learned a lot of technical skills at Goldman, like a lot of technical skills of like how to manage a portfolio. But I think the through lines of my life, because a lot of these things that I realized came from when I was younger. Like I read that book when I was 16 and it transformed my life because it clearly, like, I never stopped thinking about that bathtub example. Like, that's just crazy. But it comes up in my life every once in a while when I look at, okay, what's the level of my water and is it rising or falling? Then I can tell myself, okay, I need to increase my inputs or, you know, put some tape on my outputs because something is not aligning. And I think that's a good assessment all the time because the trajectory of life should be upwards if you do it right, it feels. But yeah, those are 7 personal habits that have helped me. I just wanted to answer that question directly. And I think I had some other comments as well. Um, someone had mentioned, well, someone was very nice and said, "You're a cool young lady. I hope you have a career or are working towards a career." Thank you. Um, Someone recently said that they were thinking about working in chemistry, but that they then watched my video, or they worked in chemistry and then they were thinking about going to finance or business, but they watched my video and then realized, okay, I know what to expect. I think that I realize now, being older and wiser, hopefully, is just like I'm very creative and I don't think I ever let that side of myself show as much. I was always the intelligent one or was always rewarded for being smart and intelligent. And I think the more that I just let my things I'm good at show, the more I'm like, oh, I'm actually very creative and love people. So now I'm trying to find a way to figure that out, which has been super fun with YouTube. But yeah, that was a fun question. I will keep going live every week. And I think I'll come with topics every once in a while just to kind of share some things that are on my mind or things that I've learned myself the hard way. And hopefully it will provide some wisdom for you. And yeah, personal habits that help me pretty much through life are these 7 habits and a bonus one of being creative. So I'm grateful for you guys for listening in and joining me. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. And let me know if you have any comments, questions. I'll keep putting the lives up and actually linking them a little bit before the day so that you have time to ask questions, and I'll put things in the post. But thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Bye.